Hey, welcome to Thy Kingdom Come. We're a podcast where we talk everything Chiefs and NFL. I'm Justin. Across from me, I got my homeboy Deontay.
Hey, yo, what's up? It's Deontay over here.
Yeah, man, we're gonna have some fun today. There's not a whole lot that's going on, but in order to kind of help us with the information, we've got our true stats guy. Okay, he's nothing else but an actual stats guy. Okay. Or if nothing else, a stats guy, whatever you want to call him.
That's
Josiah.
That's it.
Josiah. He's still here against his will.
Yeah. Is that all you want me for? It's for my stats?
And your looks.
Oh, okay.
You look great, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, we can talk the rest offline. So.
Yep. Yep. That'll be your yearly review. 5 episodes in, your yearly review is up. All right, cool, man. We've got quite a few things we want to talk about. Probably not going to be as long, but every time I say that, it's long. So, Deontay, you wanna guide us through this, man?
Yes. So we're going to talk about a few little things. We do want to talk about. We got some players that we're going to talk about, some signings that took place. Nothing that really topped off like we've had, but
Right.
some additional pieces that has taken place. Talk a little bit about maybe some potential with some salary cap that we have left, and then we want to kind of start this thing off talking about. We just want to kind of give an update. Well, I guess update or just information regarding the Rashee Rice kind of topic. So
Yeah.
Justin, you want to speak about that a little bit?
Yeah, I can kind of go into it. I'm not going to go super deep. I wrote like kind of everything out that's been going on with it, but I'm just going to kind of cap it real quick. So everybody by now has probably heard that Rashee Rice was connected with an accident that happened Saturday involving 6 cars. 4 people had minor injuries from it, and allegedly Rashee Rice left the scene. It does seem like him and his team are cooperating with Dallas police through his lawyer or legal team. He did say that he would cooperate and he wishes the best for the families and feels sorry for all the people involved. So there's not a whole lot of information still. We're 5 days later. We're recording this Wednesday morning. Still not a whole lot of information. From what videos and pictures show, it seems like you can see Rashee Rice get out of the Lamborghini, which was leased to him, and that was confirmed through the legal team of the leasing company. And then the Corvette that was also involved was registered to him. So people say they see him leaving the scene, which there are pictures out there released by TMZ showing that he was wearing the same thing earlier that day. So it is pretty much confirmed that he was there and he left the scene. Who knows why? Some people had speculated that they pulled guns out of the car. Maybe that's a reason. It could be they all were legal, but I don't know what the NFL policy is on like guns and possession and stuff like that, and I have no clue. I can't remember.
Probably a strict process or procedure, I would imagine.
Right, and probably not hanging. I know that not just the NFL, but like NBA and leagues like that have a very, very hard policy on hanging around people that associate
John Morant,
yeah. with things like that. So, and then we also have heard stories maybe that they were under the influence of something, which is why they left. So either way, it's a bad look on him. Him cooperating with police later does show, okay, maybe he is like remorseful, which he should be. We do wish the best for the families involved in the accidents. The people who had nothing to do with what was going on. And then, we really hope that Rashee Rice and his entourage that he had, some people said Hollywood Brown was a part of that. I really hope that's not the case. I didn't see anything resembling Hollywood Brown, but like a lot of speculation out there. All of this stuff is allegedly, like we don't have any confirmation on anything from police or anything like that. I know that Mark Donovan released a statement. And let's see, he said, in all these situations, you have to wait until you have all the facts. And frankly, we don't have all the facts at this point. He went on later to say, the one comforting fact that we do have is that there was a multi-car crash in Texas, and fortunately, it doesn't appear anyone was severely hurt. We should be grateful for that. We'll get to the bottom of it. We'll gather facts, and we'll react accordingly. And Adam Schefter reported that NFL VP of Communications Brian McCarthy said that they are monitoring the situation with police, and they'll probably do a full investigation. My guess is Rashee Rice probably gets some games. So I don't know, 2 games, 4 games, 6 games suspension for it, because it is a huge deal. Anytime you leave the scene of an accident, whether you're famous or not, that involves injuries or property damage, it's a big thing. It's a big deal, right? You can go to jail for that in some areas. So, we just wish the best for everybody in that situation. I guess we'll just kind of move on from that. And as we get more information, we'll update you guys the next post we get. And hopefully everything turns out for the better.
Yeah, for sure. As I'm sure more information will be released, we'll kind of update that and as things come about. We just want to briefly mention we understand the passing of Vontae Davis out there. They haven't released any details about what happened, but we just wish peace and love for his family and friends. Vontae Davis, for those that did know, he played 10 seasons in the NFL. Some of his stats were he had 22 INTs, 97 passes defended, 395 tackles, over 121 career games. We know he played with the Bills, the Colts, the Bills, Colts, and
I think it was
Dolphins.
It's Dolphins.
Dolphins. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I knew it was either Dolphins or Tampa Bay.
Yep.
It's Dolphins.
So he played with a few teams over his 10 seasons before retiring. So, just some, and he was 35 years old. That's the same age as I am. So
same.
They hit home a little bit.
Josiah has a ways to go for that.
Yeah, he's still young.
I mean, it does hit home. You know, like when you're around the same age as somebody that is, in my opinion, way better health than I am.
Right. Yeah.
Way better shape than I am. Like it kind of hits home. To have something to do with, his career in the NFL, to have something to do with that. They don't suspect foul play at all.
Yep.
Apparently, it was in his gym or something like that. But that's like all the information. Like that's not even confirmed. So.
Yep. So just wish peace for his family and close friends. So we just briefly want to just mention that. But we got some signings here that we just want to speak about a little bit. I know we started with a couple kind of heavier topics, but we'll get into the lighter things. With the L'Jarius Sneed taking place and happening, we know that at least that $19 million kind of freed up there.
Finally, and it shows. It shows.
Oh,
we made some moves. So.
Yep, which freed up our cap space there. And a couple of signings here. We know that we have, I will say signed, but there's other little quirks when it comes to the international contract deals there. But Rees-Zammit, Louis Rees-Zammit, who was a rugby player and decided to start training for the NFL. He wanted to move on.
What's his nickname again?
LRZ?
Rees-Lightning.
Oh, there we go. Rees-Lightning.
Let's go.
So Lightning McQueen over there. So, and he is. We have him rostered as a running back, and I'll tell you, he's a pretty big running back, standing at 6'3", only 194 pounds, but he's 6'3".
Well, so when he was during the season for rugby, during the rugby season, he was up to 209 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, so, it shows he's probably slimmed out because of all the, training and stuff he's been doing in the NFL. But if he needs to pack on some weight, man, he's done it. He's done it.
Yep.
So.
And if they sign him, so a little bit about the IPP player program, understanding that the team can utilize to sign him to the active roster anytime during the season. Note, and no other team can sign him once we decide to use our exemption for adding him as an IPP player. We also understand that this does not take up a roster spot. It's kind of something that they've done to kind of bring in some of those international players into the league as they transition. And because there's so many question marks that can come with that, that's why it doesn't take up a roster spot. But the Chiefs have the opportunity that, based off what they see, that they can sign him to the active roster spot, which they're kind of thinking that if they sign him, it can be around a 3-year, $900K a year per each year. So there's some little, I guess, just funny quirks about this program. But, hey, we're excited because this guy ran up to a speed of 24.2 miles per hour.
Which is the same as what
Tyreek
Hill did in the combine.
Yes. So this guy got some speed, and the cool thing about this guy is the fact we can utilize him anywhere. You can utilize him in the backfield, running back, wide receiver, some special teams. So he's a utility guy, and he got some decent size. So and he's playing with such a unique offense that I think it could they can utilize him wherever they decide to. It could be pretty fun, you know.
Right. As long as he doesn't try to drop the ball and kick it like you can do in rugby
yes.
to go forward, I think we're solid. But think about like the running back scenarios, jet sweep stuff that McCole Hardman was a big part of and Tyreek Hill was a big part of. He's got the speed to do that. He might so he only ran a 4.5 40, but he was very disappointed with that.
Sure.
And he might be the fastest guy when it comes to the top end. Maybe not in acceleration, but at the top end. When he's full go, the dude's running faster than pretty much everybody in the NFL. Now, I know pads are going to weigh that down a little bit, but realistically, that's not going to take off more than probably a couple miles an hour, like Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill weighing close to the same. He's only 5'10", 190-ish, something like that. And that's after he put on all the weight after he got to the NFL. So
right.
You think he's going to put on some football weight where he's, instead of like having to force things with rugby, being able to just focus on speed, right?
Yeah,
okay.
It's kind of like Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice ran a 4.5 40 in his combine, but the guy led the league in yak yards last year. So, you know,
he's going to be really hard to tackle.
Yeah. So again, you know, when you get up to that speed, you know, look at a guy like DK Metcalf. It may not seem like he just blow off the line, but the guy can. He got some catch-up speed, as we've seen as he chased that guy down for that tackle. So yeah, he may be a little disappointed with his 40 time, but the thing is, he gets that he can get up to some top speed there. So it's a fun little experience, and I think again, and the type of offense that we have, it can be very unique to utilize this guy. So I hope things work out for him. I hope that he'll work hard.
Right.
So hopefully we can get him to that active roster spot and just kind of see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool signing. Our next signing, we understand we signed Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz as our QB2. I know a lot of things were out there like, man, we need a QB2 and what's going on with that. So we have signed a QB2, and it's 1 year. They haven't released specifically the money details, but it's going to be probably around that veteran minimum.
Right. Well, he did a 1 year 1.13 or something like 1.31 last year with the Rams.
Yeah. So. Well, what's funny is we actually, when I think it was within the week 9 or 10 or whatever it was last year, we actually was looking to grab Carson Wentz, but Carson Wentz felt like at the time he with the money that the Chiefs offered at that moment,
right,
that he felt like he he deserved a little more. So he ended up signing with the Rams, which obviously was a mistake because the guy could have had a ring on his
Super
finger.
Bowl,
So
a second one.
yes,
a
second
ring
one. Yeah, so
from the bench both times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's what I was about to say.
so he could have had that. So obviously he was like, all right, I can't pass it up this year. Like, I better take it. So, but they're thinking again around that same veteran minimum of like 1.1, 1.3 million dollars, just like Blaine Gabbert. And I get it. You know, he was a future, or he was a past number 2 overall pick, but you know,
he just hasn't been the same since his injury.
Yeah,
he really hasn't.
And Carson Wentz, his career stats are he has 62.7 completions for 22,292 yards, 153 passing touchdowns, and 67 INTs. And here's the little thing. I know I honestly like that we brought Carson Wentz on, because I believe that in our playbook, outside of some of our recent QB2s, that he's a type of player and caliber player that we can stick to more of our playbook if, for what, heaven forbid, anything with Patrick Mahomes missing any time. But he's a guy that I feel that you can, you don't have to cut so much out of the playbook, because this guy can come in and run. Here, and check this out. Carson, so our recent QB2s have been Matt Moore, Chad Henne, Blaine Gabbert, and their record was 48-87. Okay, combined
when they came in.
Yeah, out of the 3 players that have played backup QBs, they had combined over their career 48
as starters.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, as starters, as they've kind of finished those games, 48-87. And Carson Wentz is 47-45-1.
That's a winning record,
Yeah,
boys.
yeah. So he has half the losses of what they did, and he's only 1 win less than the 3. So I think there's some great upside. And here's the cool thing, he is 6'5", 237. So he's a big feller. He's a big feller, and we know in his career that he can scramble. And here's the thing. Here's the cool thing. I like it is because of the Chiefs. We are so scared and worried about having QB sneak in our playbook because of what happened to Patrick Mahomes, that I think this kind of gives a little uniqueness for the fact that here's a few little stats here. Over since 2016, since he came into the league, he has gotten 47 out of 53 quarterback sneaks.
So I was really hoping that we could be kind of the first group to talk about this.
Yeah.
But obviously, because we record like the same time every week most of the time, unfortunately, there were a few people that brought up the QB sneak thing, and I was like, dang it, man. Like, I really wanted to be the people to release that. But yeah, I'm excited because we haven't been able to do that.
Yeah.
Now, provided third down, if they see Carson Wentz coming in, they're going to know. But Jason Kelsey's retired. Who's not to say that he comes over this summer and shows Creed Humphrey how to get down for the for what the tush push?
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. Like, again, he's 6'5", so it's just it's just even closer to the line. And we get it. If you see Carson Wentz probably coming in at that moment, yeah, they're going to load up probably for a QB sneak. And I know that we're like, hey, why would we take the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands? I get it, but it just brings some diversity to the playbook a little bit, to where we have struggled even in the red zone or at times of that third and short, or fourth and short, and trying to convert. And so, I mean, I like the idea. I like that you can utilize them, kind of plug and play a little bit in some scenarios when needed. We know that 2021 was his last starting job with the Colts, where he had 62% completion, 3,500 yards, 27 TDs, 7 interceptions. And you got to remember that Super Bowl win that they had up until week 14. Carson Wentz was on a tear leading into that, and unfortunately, injury took him out, and Nick Foles took them to the promised land a little bit. But I like this opportunity as a QB2 from what we've had in the previous year. So who know we can come out with that, and it's kind of I think it's a little exciting.
I mean,
And it secures one of those spots that we've talked about as a QB2. It kind of again puts you a little bit more at ease with knowing like, okay, we got some of these pieces falling. So the other signing was we brought back CEH. Now we know there's some people out there and maybe fans out there that aren't too hyped about this, and that's okay. But here's the thing, CEH, it's he knows the playbook, he knows the system, and when of course he hasn't panned out to where we have drafted him, but because over his career with the Chiefs, he's averaged 4.2 yards a carry on 441 attempts with 1,800 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns.
There are backs in the league that are starters in the NFL that average less yards a carry.
Sure.
Than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, I'm just saying.
Yep. He's had 89 receptions, 765 yards, and 7 touchdowns on the receiving side of it. And it's a one-year deal. And the terms of the money aspect hasn't been released there, but I'm sure it's not much, and he decided to take it just to be with a winning team. So, and this helps kind of bring again more of that depth because right now we have Pacheco, and then we brought back CEH. We have Keontae Ingram, Hassan Hall, Michael Pirine, Deneric Prince. And then what is it? Rees-Lightning, is it?
Rees-Lightning.
Yeah. So we got some opportunities there, and we know that all of them won't necessarily pan out. But again, CH, he knows the system, and so I don't think it's a bad deal. Which leads us to understanding we did bring in, and it's funny because when seeing the running back signing come across, we probably all thought it was going to be J.K. Dobbins as we brought him in. Which they said
like a walkthrough or something.
Yeah, walkthrough, little sit down interview, which they said went well. We understand that J.K. Dobbins has battled some injuries, but listen, he's a young guy. In 2020, he had 134 carries, 805 yards for a 6-yard average, 9 touchdowns, and everyone was like, "Oh man, like this guy is going to be he's going to be really good for the Baltimore Ravens." But in 2021, because of the ACL, it took away his whole season. We know in 2022 he only played 8 games. Again, this right leg has been a hindrance to him because he re-tore his ACL, his MCL, LCL. So just a bad deal, and we understand in 2023 he only played 1 game due to an Achilles injury. So we understand that injury has plagued this guy, and it's kind of we probably like, oh well, we're not going to take him because we signed CEH. But here's the thing: we lost CEH and Jared McKinnon. Mm-hmm. So who's not to say that maybe a little bit here in the free agent future in the next coming weeks we could take him on. Or they was like, listen, after interviewing this guy, there were some things that were great, but all right, CH, you coming back. But here's the thing. CH didn't just come about with that deal, but you got to understand that may have been some talks in the works. So, and still having the interview with J.K. Dobbins, who knows what can happen there. So we know that there's obviously some people that aren't too whoopy about if we potentially see J.K. Dobbins because of injury, but he's young, and I know injuries have been there, but I would say he's a little fresh. He's a little fresh as far as game time, but who knows? We're trying to look for some depth pieces. Again, we brought CH, and we have some of these other guys, but again, some of them cannot work out. Some of them could be practice squad guys. So it just gives us some depth pieces to kind of just see what we want to do there. So those are some signings that took place. I want to throw this out I want to circle real quick back around to Rees-Lightning there. All right, Justin.
Yo.
So Rees-Lightning, does he play this year in regular season or postseason? We are hoping for games, and if he does play for the Chiefs in games, what kind of stats could he have this year?
So, okay. All right. Throwing it on me. I see how it is. Okay. So my idea is that he does play. Okay. I do think he plays. Stat wise, I don't know. I think so we've got him as a running back, but we might utilize him as a return specialist. With the new kickoff rule changes, of which
good call.
We put up last week. We do have a video out of just the kickoff rules if you want to highlight that, or just recap it, so you don't have to listen to the whole podcast. Just a little 6-minute video, but we do need with Richie James being gone. We need a returner. So he could be one of the two potential returners for kickoffs. I think we're probably going to go to him. Probably give him half the season to get used to things. Work with our
big adjustments for sure.
Right, work with our second team and see how he fits. Maybe get some runs with the first team during camp and during the preseason. But I think preseason we will see him returning kicks. I also think that we will see him potentially running with the second team during games for mainly those kind of like lots of movement type plays.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're really going to try to go to him downfield too much, probably this year at all, because we want to make sure the kid's sure-handed.
Yeah.
So.
Josiah, since we're going to allow you to speak now, but what kind of do you got any little take on this? What's your take?
I mean, I agree with everything he just said. It will probably be
it's because I'm right.
It'll probably be on special teams and kick returns and stuff, because that seems where, at least the Chiefs, I'm not as familiar with other teams, where they like to try players out, is with kick returns. Whether we sign somebody or pick someone up in the draft,
Tyreek Hill early years,
and then eventually take them off if they become superstars and stuff like that. But I think that we could see, especially early on in the season, and just see how he kind of fits in. So especially like he was saying with the changes in the rules.
Yep. And then there are some adjustments there, and hopefully during his training, he's been working that out. I would love to see the guy on the field, and I think he could be definitely utilized. And again, we probably will see that potentially, probably mostly come from special teams. But who knows? The guy can maybe come out, maybe have a little, through the year, maybe 100 rushing yards or 100 receiving yards, or just a little something, maybe a few touchdowns. It would just be cool to see that. I mean, listen, unfortunately, last year, Sky Moore only had one touchdown, and I think this guy can have at least a couple more touchdowns than what he did last year.
Yeah.
So sorry, Sky Moore. But I would love to see him on the field, and I think it's kind of fun and exciting. But we'll see. We'll see. And then we have about roughly, I think they're projecting, we're right around $14.8 million in the salary cap. And we know that there's a few little details with the Carson Wentz CEH contract.
If any of that is more than $4 million, I think we still got $10 million, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think we still got a little decent amount there that still could be left with what we have remaining. Now, we understand that there has been some speculation and talks regarding bringing Mike Dana back.
Mike Dana.
And here's the thing. Mike Dana has boosted his stock because his estimated market value is actually around $60.8 million. Now, we know we don't have all of that to give him for a year, but there can be, a multi-year deal that kind of brings that down, and then, hey, wants to try to play for another championship. So there could be, he can say, hey, I'm fine with taking, $8-9 million a year,
Maybe we back end load his contract.
Yep. Give him and some signing bonuses and different things. So I think here, let me say this. I believe we do with the whole Charles Omenihu injury and recovery, we do need, again, that's another spot that we need a little bit of depth within our defensive line. And I think that it would be really good to see. Maybe it's not Mike Dana, but I think we do need to grab somebody on the defensive line side with Amenhu out. And we know that we didn't see a lot of Felix Uzama last year, so I don't believe he steps into that starting side with Amenhu out. I know on the depth chart we have B.J. Thompson behind him, but I think we need a piece there, and I would love to see Mike Dana back. He was a silent sleeper. Like, he came in, and and because of the Amenhu's suspension, and obviously with drafting Felix, and he didn't step into that starting role, Mike Dana stepped up to the plate, and he was a silent sleeper. Like, he played very well, which then brought up his stock. So I know there's still some other little defensive line pieces that are out there, and who knows? Maybe the Chiefs are like, hey, we're going to target this in the draft and kind of get so we can have a guy for 4 or 5 years. Who knows? But I would like to see this happen. We know that we still need some depth within our cornerback room, the defensive back room with losing Snead. So there's still some pieces out there. Again, I know some of the pieces out there have some injuries to them, but we just need some depth. As I believe Josh Williams, as he is the projected starter, I think Josh Williams will step up to the plate. I love his size and how he has played. I know there's been some times where there's been maybe a little inconsistencies, but Dave Merritt's going to have this guy in top shape, ready to go. And he's 6'3". When we play against some of those
huge,
and I'm telling you, now we don't necessarily have to worry about it twice this year because Mike Williams and Keenan Allen is gone from the Chargers. But
when we've
played them, and having a guy like Josh Williams at 6'3", and guarding a guy like Mike Williams, it does help out when we played Cincinnati and seeing T. Higgins, those bigger guys. So I think they'll get this guy in starter shape and ready to go, and I'm excited to see what happens. But I do think we need to bring in one of those depth pieces just to help in the DB room. So I think those are the two areas that I think that we could still improve within the free agency. We've already taken care of the QB spot, one of the RBs, and I don't know, maybe that's it, and we look to draft the wide receiver room. And we got to bring in some depth again in the offensive line side.
Yes.
So again, we
probably not picking somebody up in free agency at this point.
I'd probably be looking to draft there,
right?
And so first and second round could be potentially a left tackle or a tackle that can come behind and just push Y.A. Morris, and who knows? But I think those the defensive line. Specifically in, and another offensive lineman is where we need to target, and maybe that's where we just sit and we kind of wait till the draft unfolds. But there's just a few pieces that I think we're still left to do. So
which we'll definitely be going over the next couple of weeks with what we expect to come through the draft. So that's just a little peek into what's coming. We'll do a mock draft here in one of the next few weeks.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
I mean, we might still be doing a live stream for draft night 1. I don't know. Maybe we'll tease it.
We're working on it.
Working on it. So, we're pretty excited for what's to come. I know, like right after the draft, there's probably not going to be as much content to talk about specifically, which means we might have some fun with some things.
Oh, yeah, we can always do that.
Maybe start talking about pre-fantasy football things. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see what comes, what's to be expected over the course of whatever couple of months it is. It's really not that long before we go into camps and stuff like that, OTAs, and so I'm pretty excited for kind of like everything that's going to kind of come our way. So anything else before we kind of end this episode, D?
No, I think that's about it. Just hitting some of those highlights and talking about some of these little subjects. We are kind of looking forward to some of this mock draft things as we kind of look to present some of that. So I think that'll be fun. But I think moving forward, we'll probably start kind of just doing some draft prepping for the podcast. And so and we could throw in maybe there's a signing or something. And then we'll also update, some of the Rashee Rice details as well as we hear that. But yeah, that's all I think I got for today.
Josiah, do you have anything for us?
No.
Oh, wait, hold on. You can speak now.
No,
Okay.
I don't have anything. I don't. The one time you guys actually let me, I don't have anything to say. That's all right.
That's insane. Okay. Well, I guess I guess this is going to be it for this week. Again, thanks for listening, guys. If you would like to hear more about what we're doing, we're going to start releasing shorter clips of everything so you can digest that as you can, as opposed to listening to a full 30-minute episode. But yeah, we appreciate you all listening. Make sure you're liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let us know what you'd like to hear about. That way we can kind of communicate, right? It gives that ability for us to interact with you. So make sure you're doing all that. And as always, guys, until next time, thy kingdom come.